Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Ramses, and today we have Pak Reza. He's the chairman of PGI DKI. Welcome, Pak Reza.
Thank you very much, Ramses. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, good. Stuck in
Good.
traffic, but other than that, all good.
All right, right. Um, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do?
My name is Reza. I do most of the time. I try to do my work. I'm in the oil and gas business, and the other part of me wants to do golf, which I'm very passionate about. So I'm also the chairman for the Persatuan Golf Indonesia, which is the Indonesian Golf Association of the provincial part of the region, DKI, and mainly we deal with a lot of golf athletes that are competing in the national level,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So, Uh, in terms of your position as chairman in the Persatuan Golf Indonesia, what does that actually like mean? So what do you do?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I do as the chairman. Under the chairman of PGI of DKI Jakarta, we have three major branch, if I can sum it. The first one is actually the seeding, which is actually will feed into the athlete part of the junior development. And the third part is the golf stakeholders, which are the golf courses, the driving ranges, and the clubs that we
Okay.
have all over provincial state of DKI Jakarta. And there are about 100 and more stakeholders, which are clubs and golf courses and driving ranges.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That's
So
cool.
basically, yeah, so basically a lot of golf related stuff
Hmm.
that you see over here in DKI Jakarta is what we do. We try to
Nice.
manage at least.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So what are your, I guess, goals for the Persatuan Golf Indonesia for DKI Jakarta like in the future?
Well, right now we're happy seeing a lot of new kids and new millennials. I call it that are picking up the sport of golf. So it's a good thing to see because I think majority of the cases because WHO, the World Health Organization, announced that golf is one of the safest sport to do in quarantine or while in this pandemic. So that's why there's a lot of people, there's a lot of new youngsters that picked up the fun sport of golf.
Yeah.
But not just that, but there are a lot of cool stuff behind it. There's golf clubs, there's cool clothing, there's cool sneakers, cool golf stuff that you actually can get playing golf.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You
I
play
have
golf?
of course I play golf, but I would say
Of
I'm not the
course.
best at it. I'm just okay. Uh,
Well, yeah, you don't really have to be the best at it. That's why it's called the game of golf. As long as you can
yeah.
enjoy yourself, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Um, what? Sorry. Do you also play golf professionally, or are you
No,
just
I don't.
the chairman of the association?
Well, not no, I'm not professional golf by
Okay.
any means, and there are a lot of people that are professional golfers in the association, though.
Yeah.
Like I know you were talking to Marcel as well. He's a
Yeah.
professional
Yes.
in golf, and he's been competing most of his life. Well, I am not. I'm just an aspired amateur that loves the sport of golf. But I've been in several professional tournaments, and I'm not very good at it. But passion is passion, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
I fell in love in golf in such a early age, so basically fell in love with it, and then there's a lot of good aspect of the game of golf that you can actually learn, not just the game of winning, or not just the game of shooting low, but friends, having a lot of friends, knowing a lot of people, going from one courses to another courses is it's a fun way of knowing the sports of golf.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you. Um, Now, like if I were to talk about maybe your business side, what sort of businesses do you do? I remember before you mentioned something about oil, right? No?
Yes, all in cost.
Yeah.
So basically, our company deals with oil and gas. We've been in the market. We've been in the business for 40 years in the oil and gas sector. Um, Oil stuff, we do lifting of the gas and oil. We do production stage for a certain company, for an MNC, a multinational company
Yeah.
in Sumatra, and in gas we distribute CNG as a gas in Java and Sumatra Island.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you get into this business?
Well, first of all, after I graduated from the States, I was in an engineering department, and that's how I got into oil and gas basically. And after I moved back for good in Indonesia back in 2007, I think, I was hired by a listed company, an oil distribution company, uh, and that's how I got started.
Okay.
And also, I'm the third generation of an oilman, if I may say,
Okay.
oilman.
Okay. Okay. I understand. Um, in terms of, I would say, um, business and golf, what would you say are some key values that you need and instill to succeed in terms of,
Um,
yeah.
well, that's a good question, actually, Ramses. I mean, both of them are very intercorrelated, and sometimes a lot of people joke around that once you spend too much time on one, that you'll actually missing out on the other ones, and that's actually true. You know, if you play golf 4 or 5 times a week, then you might lose on the business side of it,
Yeah.
and somehow you need to find balance in between. That's also true, and but there's a lot of good things that you can learn from the game of golf that relates to business. For example, the game of golf teaches you how to be how to be honest, right? If you lost the ball, then you should say that you lost the ball. And that's also with this game called life. You cannot have a restart.
Sorry,
Hello.
you cut off. You just it's cut off at a game of life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this game of life. So there's no second chance to it, right?
Yeah.
So once you drop the ball or you put the ball in a penalty stake, then that's where you have to resume basically. And you also have to be honest with what you have, right? Sometimes the game of life also depends that. Um, and there's no if you try to find a perfect score or a perfect circumstances in life, it just won't happen. Sometimes you just have to play with what you have basically.
Oh, yeah. I think playing with what you have is the most important thing. Trying not to think that, sometimes I think on the golf course I can make every par or play good all the time, but then sometimes, you're just having a bad day and you cannot do anything about it. Just play with what you have, yeah.
Exactly, you're right, yeah. And then you just have to let the birdie come to you, right, instead of you
Yeah.
chasing. Yeah.
Like it will come when it comes.
Yes.
Um, when you're playing golf and let's say you're not playing so well, uh, how do you focus and remain calm in those situations?
Well, I usually throw my clubs and all. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Usually, although that's what usually I'm intrigued of doing it, but sometimes you can't because there's a lot of people around you. But the question is, what happens if there are not a lot of people around me, right? No, but how to stay calm is mainly I talk to myself just to
Yourself.
keep me on the zone. Sometimes if things are not going very well, I talk to myself and say, listen, hello, I'm just
Hi,
sorry,
hi. Yeah,
got
yeah,
cut
yeah.
again. Yeah. So basically, I talk to myself. I give myself, a pep talk. Sometimes I'd say to myself, listen, you're just not hitting it good today. It's okay because you have a good short game. Sometimes you should know when to talk to yourself, like picking yourself back up, and then never talk down on yourself. Just keep on strolling, keep on going. So that's are the things the second thing that I like to say is a good friend of mine, a personal good friend of mine who had passed away, actually, um, reminded me that when things are going bad in the golf course, you should remember of the good things, that makes you smile, basically. So I try to do that. I remember in one tournament, a professional tournament that I was in back in 2013. It was a big qualifier for a professional tournament, and that friend of mine gave me a suggestion to have, when you flip open the umbrella, right? There's an inside part of the umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So I stick the photograph of my kids in the inside part of the umbrella. So whenever I
Oh.
flip open the umbrella, that'd be my happy
Uh,
place. You know what I mean?
okay,
So
okay.
I would have his socks, like a little kid's sock, hanging inside the umbrella. People wouldn't see that. Only me, the one that can see that, right? But when I open it up, right, it brings me to my happy place. So that's a trick that you probably should try.
That's cute.
Yeah, right.
Wow, wow. Okay, that's very that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, wow, wow, that's um, what are some of the most important lessons you have learned over the course of your life, whether it is, playing golf, whether it is managing your business, whether it's, I guess being with your family.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. Uh, the first is there's no such thing as a perfect situation, right? You always have to learn how to accept flaws, right? And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, sometimes things just don't fall into its places, and you gotta be able to learn how to accept that, right? And third of all, there's no easy way to success. There's no an easy way to to become whoever that person that you want. So you have to struggle. You have to pay your dues. There's no pain, no gain, basically. Whether that you try to become a very good businessman, a successful businessman, or an aspiring athlete, there's no such thing as an easy way to success.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to struggle and learn how to accept the flaws.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess just accepting. You can also like accept yourself for who you are, no matter what flaws you may think you have. Other people also might not view it as flaws, right? And
Right.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's very important.
Sometimes that can be a strength as well, right? Whatever you think that may be your flaw might be another person's strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 that is true.
Right.
Um, what advice would you give to young golfers who are looking to start playing competitive golf?
Um, Learn the proper game of golf. Uh, don't cheat the score. Let it come. Don't chase for birdies. Learn the basic skill of the short game. Um, and struggle and try. And the game of golf is a game of scoring. It's not a game of who can hit the furthest, who can hit the longest. It's a game of scoring. So be smart in knowing what are your strengths. You may be a bomber of the tee, but not so much of a putter. Then you gotta work on your putter. If you are a strong putter but not so much of a long hitter, then work on your driver or on your irons. So basically, always use a strategy. Always use statistics. Know your fairway in regulation. Know your green in regulation, and know what kind of athlete that you want to be in golf. That's very important because what are your goals in golf is very important too. If you just want to win a local tournaments or a club championship tournaments, then if that's your goal, then you may want to spend 2-3 times a week on the practice ground. But if you want to try to be an aspiring PGA Tour player, then you're gonna start to wanting to focus on a lot of other things. Like your nutrition, your way of thinking, your psychology, and your muscle mass, your speed. There's a lot of things that comes around with it, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Before,
And not yeah, and
sorry.
not yeah, and not to not to scare any aspiring athletes want to be pro, but you have to figure out the ways on getting there, and how you're gonna get there. And the game of golf will, if you don't get if you don't set your priorities right, then you can get lost, basically.
Yeah. Um, Before you mentioned how like if you bomb it off the tee, but then you're not so good at putting, then it's a problem because the putts that are this maybe this much are equally as important, right, as the shots you hit off the tee. Is
Right.
that right?
Right.
Um,
Exactly. It's one stroke.
yeah, one stroke. Um, yeah. Is there anything that you would like to add to our discussion today, Barza?
Well, Ramses, I think there should be a lot more, young aspiring golfer out there
Right.
that are like you, that wants to know and try to pick the brains out of people that are in the industry and the business, because we have experience, but we don't have the time that you guys do, to research, to try to do and
Yes.
emulate things. And I like to see this video goes out and touches a lot of young aspiring golfers out there,
I hope so
and
too.
yeah, this is very important. Whatever it is, stay on your lane and keep on doing what you're doing. I think it's cool.
All right. Thank you so much for coming onto my channel and doing
Definitely,
this interview for.
definitely, I'll do it again.
Okay, sip.